Hi, I'm Colleen Jones from Team Canada. Watch us next on TSN.
And it seems we have been watching her forever. Colleen Jones out of the Mayflower Club in Halifax, who has gone on to become the winningest women's skip in Canadian curling history. Do you remember 2 years ago in Sudbury when she won her third Canadian title on a measurement and then went on to the Ford Worlds in Lausanne to claim her first World Championship. Then this year back as Team Canada in Brandon looking to defend, and she went on to a record 4th win as a skip, and now she turns her attention again to the Worlds. Can they keep up with Jones? Colleen Jones in Canada looking to make it back-to-back world wins here in Bismarck, North Dakota. It is known as the skyscraper on the prairie. It is the North Dakota State Capitol building, and it dominates the skyline of Bismarck, North Dakota. Hi, everyone, and welcome to TSN's opening day coverage of these 2002 Ford World Curling Championships. Where is Bismarck, North Dakota? Well, if you're driving from Winnipeg, about 6 hours southwest. If you're driving from Regina, about 4 hours to the southeast. And right about in the middle of those two cities, about 250 kilometers south of the Canadian-U.S. border, that's where you'll find Bismarck. And it's surprising to some that the Worlds would be here. 25 years ago, there was no curling club. There were only a handful of curlers in the city. But now, there's one curling club, 200 curlers as members, yet there are 600 volunteers who are working part of these Ford Worlds. It is a busy opening day with 4 draws on the ice, 2 men, 2 women. The Canadian women opened with a win this morning over Switzerland, and now they're about to go on for the second time this opening day against Sweden. With their thoughts, let's go now to the Civic Center and join Lyndon Ray.
Well, Vic, it's really hard to believe that it's April and the last event of the season of champions.
And Victor, thank you very much for explaining exactly where we are. That takes me off the hook.
That's right. And it has been an unusual season with the Olympics, a very long season for many of these teams that went through multiple qualifications, some for the Europeans, then the Worlds and the Olympics, of course. So let's look at the entire field that Canada will be facing this week in women's play. We do have what we call the favorites, and that is, of course, defending champ Colleen Jones. Patty Lank was the runner-up in 1999 from the U.S., a good team. Dorothy Nordby, great in 90 and 91, has not returned to that kind of championship form. And Lenny Bidstrup, again, 2 great years for Denmark. And then the teams that we're not really sure about: Germany, a new skip, Natalie Nessler; Sweden, a bit of a surprise, we'll talk about that in a moment; Scotland, Jackie Lockhart; and Switzerland, Manuela Korman, all fairly new at skipping. And then we have a couple of teams that are really here for the experience. And that, of course, is Russia and Korea. So, Ray, when we look at the matchup today, Sweden and Canada, it is a bit of a surprise who we see out of Sweden.
It is, Linda, but Colleen's record speaks for itself, that's for sure. And we know, and if any of the teams here think that they can just go up and down the ice with this young lady, they're making a big, big mistake, especially when she gets support from a team. Since she's put this team together, it's just been fantastic. And she gets great support. Look at the shot that Kim Kelly makes this morning in the 4th end to set up this particular steal. The score is 1-0 for Colleen, and Kim gets in the hack. And I'll tell you what, she makes so many of these kinds of shots. This is an out-turn hit on a rock on the 8-foot. She's trying to roll into the 4-foot to get it covered. And watch this, good judgment all the way. There's the hit, and there's the roll, and that sets up a steal of 2, and that was control of the game. Colleen Jones, if you're going to beat her, you have to mix it up with her. You have to put rocks in play, because if you try and throw them up and down the ice, she'll beat you every time out.
So from the capital of North Dakota, Bismarck, the Canadian women try to make it 2 in a row on this opening day of the Ford Worlds. Here are the other games on the ice in this second draw of women's play. Scotland, that's Jackie Lockhart from Aberdeen as she goes against the U.S., and Patty Lank from Madison, Wisconsin. Mi-Yoon Kim against Olga Yarkova of Moscow. Switzerland out of the Lausanne Olympic Club, Manuela Korman against Dorothy Nordby, the former 2-time world champion from Oslo. And Denmark, Lenny Bidstrup in her 7th appearance at the Worlds against Germany, skipped by Natalie Nessler out of Garmisch-Partenkirchen. There are 5 sheets in play here at the Bismarck Civic Center, home of the Dakota Wizards, who are into the playoffs of the Continental Basketball Association. Our featured game is on sheet D, so it's time to read the ice now. And to do that, here's Ray. It's all brought to you by Ford.
Victor, Linda, it was very straight this morning and this afternoon around the center guard, about 2 to 2.5. I don't think it'll go much more, but we'll watch it closely. Around that corner guard from the inside out, about 3 to 3.5. I saw a couple of them finish not badly. From the outside in, we're looking at about a foot of curl, hardly at all. It will come a little bit at the end. Now, in particular, I talked to the Canadian team today, and when you're playing outside in the 12-foot area or the middle of the 8-foot area, they do run very straight. They run straight down. There's a couple runs out there, so you're going to have to really be careful when you're reading your ice. Now, when the ice is straight, you do see a lot more of the rays tapping this rock back into the area. You'll see a lot more of those raising those rocks back into the rings, into these areas. It doesn't look like great rushing ice to me. It is fairly straight. Nice chance for Colleen Jones to get her second win.
And she'll try and do it against Sweden. Their lead is Anna Lindholm, Annette Jornlund. Maria Engholm is the third, but does throw the 4th stone, and the skip is Margareta Sigfridsson. They are from Sveg, Sweden. And the Canadian champions, 2-time defending, the lead Nancy Delahunt, Marianne Way, Kim Kelly, and Colleen Jones out of the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax. Sweden is playing the Red Stones. They will have the hammer in the first, and the first stone from the Canadian lead, Nancy Delahunt, slips to the back of the 8-foot.
Well, that didn't curl more than 6 inches, that one going down there, Linda. So we'll watch. That's the outturn going down, so we'll see how it is. You can see they're going to hit it. You know, we knew going in that Colleen would put that rock in the rings, and with the advantage of last rock, Sweden has some options. They could play down to it, try and freeze to it. They could throw up the corner guard if they so desired. But
well, it is going to be the interesting thing, Ray, if the ice does maintain its rather straight appearance as we see it today, and that is a team like Colleen's who wants to play it more cleanly, more openly, if that's what they elect to do, may have a little bit of an advantage. And you've talked about, in your reading the ice, some of the things that you have to cope with, like putting tight guards up and raising them in. So it does change the game quite a bit for you.
Whoa.
I talked about the team that is here from Sweden, and I guess the surprise being the team that we so often saw in the 90s, 4-time world champion Elizabeth Gustafsson did not win. And as of late, actually, they haven't had a lot of success since we saw them in '99 winning over Patty Lank in the world final.
They didn't have a very successful Olympics either. It was an interesting process because unlike Canada, which had the Olympic trials in Regina, which was a wonderful competition, the Swedish Curling Federation just made the choice, and they looked for the team that would give them the best opportunity to win. And since none of their other teams really had that much experience, they elected to go with Gustafsson. And then as it turns out, now Sigfridsson beats them in the 3-weekend Swedish championship. Maria Engholm, the third, though, said, we hope to now get some consideration for the next Winter Games.
But you know, Vic, it's interesting, you know, and certainly not in any way to take anything away from Elizabeth, because that is a wonderful curling, has been a wonderful curling team. But I think Linda's, you know, we'll see how you feel, but I think there's a real danger when you just want to point something like that. So obviously they've known for 2 years, I think it's almost more than that they were going to go to the Olympics. And I just think you don't, somehow it's very hard to stay sharp, to stay on top of your game. I know your practice, I know you're doing all the things, you know, all the dry land training and all the things that go with physical conditioning, but you still need to compete. You need the intensity of, you know, of the play downs and the lead up, and you know, we saw Kelly Law, for example, go through very, very tough competition in Regina.
Now, it does make a huge difference not having that build-up, and of course the other Swedish team on the men's side that we maybe expected was Pia Lindholm, who also isn't here. So Sweden may be going through a little bit of a change as well as some new teams come on board. Ray talked about the curl. The ice times were also not that certain. They're brought to you by Karcher, and we do measure between the hog lines. That draw weight, 13.5 is the question mark. Hits or nines, hack 11.5 seconds, and guard 15.5 seconds plus. but we're really not sure. And remember, when ice runs very straight, that often the rock carries differently. So it does carry for a while, but we've said you can't really brush this ice and take it at the end and get the finish that you might want. So another dimension for the teams to deal with this week.
Well, and I talked earlier to Scott Pfeiffer and Marcel Rock, and I asked them, I said, you know, I'm watching that game this afternoon. It looks to me like it's not the kind of ice that you can hold the stone like we saw at the Briar. And they said, no, you're absolutely right. It's, you know, obviously brushing is effective, and we'll do, you know, do certain things, but some ice is better brushing ice than others. And I don't, at this stage, from what I see, this is not quite the kind of ice that you can hold the stone as well.
So up and down the sheet in this first end of the second draw on this opening day, Sweden, Canada. Sweden playing the Red Stones with the hammer.
Yeah, we're gonna go this way now. Okay.
Kim Kelly.
And this is the lady that I really expect to be a huge factor for Canada, as she always is at the Scott Tournament of Hearts and the World Championship. Ray showed you that shot, and it wasn't played with a great deal of weight. She can really throw good weight for you, but Ray, that one, really, that hit and roll was just that nice, quiet hit.
Yeah, and the big weight is not her forte, really. It's not her strength. She can step it up for you, but that's not where she's strongest. And Colleen plays her where she is strong at, and that was a good example. That shot that we showed you was a good example of a light bumper weight to take out with the roll. The one thing that does for sure is give the brushers a chance always, you know. Also, when it runs so straight, Linda, it's really dangerous when you throw that big weight.
And so we've got the switch. She is the skip, Margareta Sigfridsson, the 28-year-old, but she throws the third stones, and that leaves Maria Engholm to throw the fourth stone.
Linda, just a question. I was wondering how you felt about the fact that Paul Trulson going on to win the gold medal in Salt Lake City. I'm wondering if maybe that you saw Doherty Nordby this morning come out and win her first game. I'm wondering if that maybe gave Doherty a little bit more incentive to be the. I mean, you mentioned in your opening comments that she was a wonderful team in the late 80s and 90s and 91 and got her world championship, but the last 3 or 4 years, she just doesn't seem to have her heart or her head in it as much, you know. And
now, the motivation definitely seems to be different than it was in the early 90s. And you may be right, Ray, that seeing somebody from your country go forward and play so well at the Olympics and win the gold and bring it home, you can imagine what happened in Norway after that win, the excitement. That might just do something for Doherty here and get her really stirred up and wanting to play well.
there's a concern in Norway, too, just to continue on with that while they play an up and down the ice end here. There is a concern in Norway because the game has not been growing the way that it should be. And I'm talking to Christian Sorum, and I mean, they've had some, for a country with so few curlers, they've had some wonderful teams. Igo Ramsfeld jumps to mind, of course, and Doherty, and Christian Sorum himself. And over the years, they've had terrific teams and have had great success at the world level. But so they're really concerned about the growth of the game, and so they need to. That gold medal win for Paul Trolson was very, very big, and hopefully they do get some of the funding and get the game going again, because I spent a lot of time in Norway in the mid-70s. Actually, I went there 10 or 11 years in a row, and I sure hate to see it kind of dying a little bit. Nose hit.
Right in the middle, Nance.
See where she's putting the broom for this outside shot. This is the out turn, out in the middle of the 8-foot. That's the one we talked about.
Put it out to the broom, yeah. I would think on this ice.
So Colleen Jones makes her way down for skip stones here in the first. Colleen looking to become just the fourth skip to win back-to-back world championships.
What? That's a long train there.
The first was, in fact, Doherty Nordby in 1991. And the other two, Elizabeth Gustafsson and Sandra Schmerler.
Whoa. Whoa, clean. Clean. Just clean. Yep, yep. Whoa. Clean is good. Good girl. Nice shot. That's a nice throw. Nice weight.
Let's begin our updates, and it is Norway and Dorte Nordby against Switzerland. The Swiss champion, skipped by Manuela Korman out of the Lausanne Olympic Curling Club in her second appearance against the former two-time world champion. Dorte Nordby in her 14th appearance. She's won it twice. She's been second a couple of times. And the final stone for Korman, and the draw for two, and Switzerland has an early 2-0 lead. Switzerland coming in 0-1. Norway won their first this morning. And this is the Swedish fourth stone thrower, Maria Engholm. Did I do well?
Very good.
The fourth stone thrower.
You really have trouble with that. We all do have trouble with that one, Vic. But I do want to know, between the male skip from Finland or the home club for the German women, which is your favorite word?
Well, I like Partenkirchen.
I know, I can tell.
I like that.
But not far behind would be Markku.
Jussi Pavliniemi.
Thank you.
Much was made, of course, heading into these worlds about a stiff neck and the problems for Colleen, but they've all been worked out, massaged out, and so she's quite healthy.
Well, she has Marianne Wade.
Massage therapist, of course.
That's right.
Nice weight, though.
How much will the hit and rolls then become a factor in this?
Big time if they put some front rocks up. But if you're hitting and rolling and not rolling behind anything, it doesn't matter where you roll, does it?
No.
And we have made comments before that often the 4-rock rule is not utilized as much, especially by the women. And I'm like Ray, I believe that's the way to get to something happening against Canada. That's to put up some front stones and make the big come-arounds or hit and rolls, as Vic's just said.
One thing Colleen does have is a great sense of timing too. She does play very defensively, but she'll pick her spots, and when she does get a chance, she knows how to close.
Final stone for Maria Engholm in Sweden here in the first, looking to blank and maintain control of the hammer. And she will not. She'll sit right there. So Sweden forced to take the single here in the first. They played it to blank and they couldn't. And now Canada will have the hammer when we come back.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment, by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Briar, and by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
You won't miss a thing, of course, with Canada's most comprehensive curling coverage. First end, Denmark against Germany. Lene Bidstrup from Denmark with the hammer, playing Germany's Natalie Nessler from Garmisch. And Germany is lying one back forefoot. The final stone for Bidstrup in her 7th appearance at the World Championship. She was 3rd last year, won a bronze medal in Lausanne, coming off an 8th place finish in Salt Lake, looking for the little tap to the button, but will tap it by. And so that yellow stone is a steal of 1 for the Germans. Denmark coming in at 1-0. Germany losing their first this morning. A blank means Scotland holds the hammer against the U.S. A blank, Korea, Russia. Switzerland, we showed you the 2 for the Swiss champions out of Lausanne. And in our featured game, Sweden picks up 1, and so is Nancy Delahunt throws. We're playing in the second, and Canada has the hammer.
This is interesting, Linda. This is exactly what I talked about when I talked about Colleen has a good sense of timing. She gets the first stone goes through the rings, the throw by Sweden, so it gives Colleen a chance to throw up the corner guard and get the play on the edges. It's exactly what she did. To defend it, Sweden tried to come around, but that's the red stone you see out in front that comes up short, and now a good come around, middle of the 8-foot by Nancy. So excellent chance. You got the play on the sides, Lou. You got the last rock. You got the break when Sweden hit and stuck in the first end. So this is the time when you take a chance to get your extra points. It's exactly what she's doing.
And you have to like the placement of that first stone for Canada. It looks like Colleen was very aware of where the curl is on the sheet of ice, because we did see terrific movement as the rock came around the guard. This was supposed to be just a freeze.
And this is Annette Jornlund. All the way out the back.
Whoa, Colleen says, let's get 3 points. You could split the rings here, go to the open side, and probably Sweden would hit it and try and exchange some stones, but Colleen's asked Marianne to come around. Now the pro side is to miss this short. You just cannot miss this long.
Weight's good. All on its own. Yep. Or deep. Whoa.
Kim Kelly
Bumping.
closest to the stone. Nancy Delahunt, the lead
Just
brusher.
a little bump. It's
Quite a bit big bump,
still got a long
actually.
way.
Okay.
And well by the guard, not as close, obviously, as the draw by Nancy, and it'll rub off.
Kim, 58.
Just a little strong. I think if they'd thrown that with brushing weight, they would have got the little bit of finish they got with the first one.
Får spela en liten vikt då. Bara så pass att de inte kan vicka bakom.
Just
Jag
a
tror
little
att vi
hit and
kan
roll.
få det på en normal. Vad tror ni?
Ja, normal.
It's just a little muffled. I can't hear.
Ja,
Can you
spela
tell me?
lite mjukt
Can you tell me
normal
what the relation, what she meant by Victor? I don't know why
She was talking about you, I'm
I don't
sure.
know.
Little hit and roll, she said, just quietly.
Annette Jornlund, a former skip, in her second appearance, she skipped the team in '96. That was the year that Marilyn Bodo won the championship, and Annette then finished 7th in the World Championship.
Men nu kanske får lite. Nej, tjapp. Bra Anette. You want to throw Marianne regular?
No.
Or board?
Yeah. Okay.
Hit and roll behind the guards if you can.
They were talking about the weight, and I agree with Marianne that I think the hack to board weight is the better choice to try to get a bit of
Just
movement
board.
here.
Okay. Hack. Just hack. No. It's got lots. Close. It's trying. Yeah.
Now, got to get across the face just a little bit. Good judgment. And roll it over on top to lie 2.
Nice shot.
Nice shot by Marianne.
You were right. Hack was all it was, eh? If that.
Yeah, I got a foot on it, so I can.
Man kan spela på kula. Och med marginalen.
Det går ju rakt där. Det går ju rakt. Ska jag spela? Vad ska jag spela för boll? Ska jag spela
Lägg
lite
inte
mer?
bara upp ett treten.
Well, they're talking about trying to come with this wide out turn, boy. I don't think it'll curl very much. I don't really know what the...
Spela den här.
She could just draw it around this way here. I think that's what she's decided to do. I don't know. I don't think she... And I don't feel she has anything over here at all. The way it runs so straight.
It would be very tough.
Det syns ju när
I
det
think the Canadian team was a little surprised with how much that curled at the end, that little hit and roll, and it did roll far enough that it's left a tiny opening for Sweden to draw in.
So the Canadians with the hammer line, 2 trailing 1-0 in the second.
90.
Ja, 90.
And the first of the third stones from
Min var
their
3,
skip,
den
Margareta
smyger det framme.
Sigfridsson.
Look across all the sheets and there really isn't any rocks at all in play. We did see a couple rocks in Doherty's end where she gave up the 2, where Switzerland scored the 2, but really there's very few rocks in play.
Nej, inte lång.
Upp om den är lång.
Med. Känns som den är lång.
Bakkant.
Nej, känns som den är
Bakkant.
lång.
Lindholm on the right, Jornlund is on the left, and nothing from either of them.
Lots of weight.
They just aren't throwing it to the brushers. We talked about how the rock won't carry, but it won't curl at all if you give it that little bit extra. It goes right to the back of the 12-foot.
That is true.
You guys.
I think we have to tuck another one in there, you guys.
I like that.
So I can throw pretty slow, eh?
24.
4.5?
4? I think it's 4.
Once again,
Okay,
you want to miss
Marianne?
this on the short side, not the deep side.
Linda, it would seem to me as we get ready for Kim Kelly's stone, the danger might be leaving it at a position where you could angle it back. But the upside is if you can bury it, you're looking at 3, maybe a 4 spot here.
Definitely, and cutting off really the only chance Sweden has to get out of this, which is to play this same draw.
Cannot be strong here, though. You're trying to get it right by now. She just threw too much weight.
Colleen, you have to take it. That's okay, Kim.
And that, of course, is the world rule where the front end cannot continue to brush behind the tee line. It has to be the acting skip take over at the tee line.
Back with you at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And Canada and Randy Ferbey coming off their win this morning over Austria. Trying to make it 2 straight as they play Sweden and Per Karlsson. In a game this morning that the Canadians stole 4 points. 1 in 7, or 3 points, 1 in 7, and then 2 in 8. And that really broke it open as the Austrians scored late to make it close.
Well, that was really a mistake you don't see very often from Kim Kelly, Linda, because that's a great opportunity. I mean, even if you stop that rock just short of the rings, it's a super shot. But,
I think the ice speed is confusing them. I talked about a little bit of a question mark in the speed. It looks like it's a little bit faster in this draw. They're talking about a time of 14 seconds between the hog line.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you less.
You know what, guys? Even if I'm just top 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Jag trodde den var 10.
Should be. Yeah.
Should be okay.
once again, you can't be long. Short's fine.
Here you go,
A
Marianne.
little less. Yep, perfect. Yeah, close then, yeah.
Not moving that much, you're okay.
Top 8.
You're okay for line, you got lots of it. Tons of line.
Top 8. Line's good now.
Yeah, you can. Well, it's still not.
Whoa, not
I don't
deep.
want to rub this because then
Yeah,
we'll pop
finish
in the
it.
oven.
Top 8.
Whoa,
Boy,
whoa.
by half a stone it got by that guard.
Kim,
shot, Kim.
nice shot.
In fairness to Kim, it just didn't curl at all for her. We know it's not going to curl, but that didn't break at all. I thought, because we saw that,
That
the
actually didn't do a
takeout, the
whole
hit
lot
and
of
roll.
bending.
No, listen to Kim's comments.
Yeah, and it looked like early. I was saying, yeah, because it was to center pretty quick, and I thought, oh, geez, you better sweep it if I'm lighter. Man, it's feeling slick to me.
I don't
But
know.
I mean, we've been throwing 3.5, so.
I think one thing you have to be very careful with this entire week are the stones are a little bit different. You might get curl from different stones, and you're going to get a lot of different curl from the releases out here. The Canadian players release slightly differently, but definitely all the teams they face are going to see a lot of different releases, and often your opposition, for a lot of reasons, have more curl. They play on straight ice at home, and they're more used to playing a little outside, inside with the release.
Så fundera på om det är lite
It looks a little bit
is.
with the ice she's taking that she's going to try and play the, as opposed to playing it quietly and try and roll inside, it's going to try and play the double. Going to try and catch the stone thrown by Kim, the one just about in the forefoot, biting the forefoot. A touch on the outside and make the double.
Maria Engholm throws the 4th stone for the Swedish champions. She was the alternate a year ago for the Swedish team, skipped by Annette Norberg.
Okej, den ligger bra. Den ligger ganska bra. Vi kanske får kvar den med hemma.
Nice save, nice shot.
That's exactly what she called.
Here are all the scores. Still early in this second draw of women's play. Korea in their first ever appearance at a women's world championship.
I know, I did too. 'Cause
Scores
you
a
know
couple
what? It was
against
tough to get that to
Russia.
sink, yeah. And make that one
And Germany
solid
after the
over
blank
there,
in
right?
2. Denmark has the hammer playing the 3rd.
Is it getting quicker there?
It is quicker.
Is it? What am I throwing here? Oh, 4, that's all though, 4-2. Look like people.
You know what it feels like, yeah, arena 4-2
Okay.
versus curling club 4-2.
All right, what would the difference be, Linda, between 4-2
Okay,
in
top
a
8.
curling club as compared to an arena?
Well, I guess it's partly the feel that you get under your stone and under your slider, and probably the way the stone continues. Ray and I talked about how the fact earlier today it didn't seem that the rock was carrying. And often in arenas you do see it carry nicely at the end.
It looks like they're carrying better tonight, don't you think, than we saw this afternoon?
Definitely, they are right now anyways.
This is great line if it finishes a little bit for her.
Boy, they've never let up on it. Marianne Way and Kim Kelly taking it back all the way now. Bury as much as they can.
Great shot, Colleen.
And very nice to bury it to lie 2 again.
And she got the finish she wants. You'll see as we pull out a little bit, you'll see the guard coming into play. And she got the little movement.
For sure. So did I.
Boy, you can't see a lot of this shot.
Because the 62 should have been split. Not for her.
Take a look at that. She just gets by. She's by a couple inches, I guess, Vic, and now she gets the movement right here. See it come across the 4-foot line, and she gets a little bit of movement. Keeps it nice and high, so there's nothing to freeze to. And you see the guards take the line, the 4-foot line, go straight forward. You can see exactly how much she got it by this rock here. 4-foot line that runs right down here.
De kommer ändå ha en öppen take. Så det är mer vad du känner för. Men studsar vi ut på den, då är den ju inte så bra. Om vi gör en frysning och bara duttar.
Vi spelar taken.
Ja.
Vi kan spela samma.
Vill du spela samma fart? Vill du spela lite mindre fart?
Lite mindre.
Mm.
They decided just to come down and tap this one back a little bit.
Alltså vill du ha normal? För förra var upp.
Ja, normal.
Would you risk a... is there a double there? Could you feather it and get a double, or is it not possible?
I don't think so, Vic, because you just jam it.
22 hade jag. 35-40 då.
At this stage, she'd like to be happy to hold this to a deuce, I think.
Final stone for Sweden. Boy, right out of their hand, and there was hesitation from the front end as they were still checking the stopwatches. Jornlund and Lindholm got it by. They picked it up. Now angle it back. Nice shot, and so Canada will have a draw for 2.
A couple of nice shots made by Sweden in this end, the double, and then that one. They could not see a lot of that stone.
That was a nice shot. That's the best she could do, really, with that kind of weight. I thought you would maybe played a little bit quieter.
3 points was not going to happen.
So it's a draw for 2. Colleen will take the same ice. Very likely play the exact same shot she just played.
I like this way because we kind of know, you know.
One thing you have to be very careful with as a skip in this situation, we've seen a great deal of play in one spot this end, so you don't want to risk going into a new piece of ice and not knowing the speed. She's going to try and play the same area of the sheet for this draw.
Line's good.
A little. I think we're okay, actually.
Line's
Yeah,
great.
Good. Just clean.
Pull eight. Pull eight.
Grab a piece of the 8 for a couple of points here in the second.
Well skipped in by Colleen Jones. She utilizes the corner guard and got the extra point she wanted.
Yes.
Nice end.
2 yellow.
Colleen Jones. Canada pick up a deuce, and they'll have the lead, trying to make it 2 in a row.
Finish past that guard after a while, eh?
What's that?
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you in part by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience. By JVC, excite your senses. And by Whirlpool Home Appliances, proudly supporting extraordinary Canadian women athletes and everyday champions across the country.
And on this busy opening day of the 2002 Ford Worlds, we welcome you back to the Bismarck Civic Center. We're in North Dakota for these World Championships. The Canadians won their opening draw this morning with a 7-4 win over Switzerland.
Kinda like that with
And
this
now
one
trying to make
high.
it 2 in a row as they play Sweden. Canada scored 2 in the second, leading 2-1. First stone from Canada bites top 8. Corner goes up from Sweden, and now the second lead stone, Nancy Delahunt.
You said that so casually, like you expected the corner to go up.
No, I don't know. We were cheering. We were applauding.
Just top.
A very good play, and Colleen has decided to counter it the same way that Sweden tried to last end, and that's playing the come around, getting there first.
Okay.
Rock needs to be high
Nice
in the
shot,
house.
Nice shot. Real nice shot.
Jag tycker vi kan pröva på tangering och träff.
Which
I
means
annat fall bara vicken.
Hit and roll. Which means you are such a
Well,
beauty.
during the World Juniors, you were saying that you would handle all the Swedish for us,
Oh, that's
Ray.
because you two puff up with your Swiss German all the time. Go out for dinner after the final
It
of the
was
night
nice,
to a
wasn't that
beautiful
nice?
Swiss restaurant. You two are just delighted with yourselves, you know, speaking Swiss German. And,
we ordered you a very nice dinner, I thought, though.
oh, we did, yeah, 3 desserts.
Linda, how on ice like this, you and Ray often talk about being release sensitive. Can you in fact
Kim's
get
moved here with
can you get
regular.
something out of straight ice that you wouldn't normally by maybe trying to put something on the release?
You definitely can, Vic. Now, you have to be careful, especially if you don't try it during the season. To suddenly start doing it is tough.
Nice
But right
regular.
there, Marianne could have put a little more emphasis on the outside to the inside of the target, rolling the hand over a bit, and that means you get extra curl from the stone. And many top players do practice a second release when they get into situations with this very straight ice.
And it'll roll too far. Hang on.
Okay.
Just to mention that evening, it was a lovely evening, Victor, and you coordinated the whole thing perfectly. And the Swiss restaurant had my favorite dessert, Sabione.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they did make it. Very hard to get it.
Annette Jornlund. I have to say again that Kelowna was a very, very pretty spot. Probably a wonderful job.
The other thing, Vic, we're noticing a bit about this ice is you're getting the most curl as you start to get past the 4-foot band. That's going from, of course, the center line out. Well, that one was a little strong, perhaps, and didn't get it. So positioning of the corner guards will be important. And for the first time, if you're going to actually try to come around them, you may want to put them a little wider than we talk about at the Scott and the Briar, where we say bring them closer to center line, closer to the rings, and then you can tap them, run them back, etc. Maybe here to get the extra curl, you might have to play a little bit with where you place them and go outside a little bit.
Looks good. Weight's good. Line only.
Yeah, you have to go for line. We got lots here.
It's not lots.
Fine. Whoa, we got lots of room.
Yeah, it is lots. Yeah, we do have lots.
We're back. Come down. Come down.
It will come down.
It's trying.
It's going back though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Just too deep. Marianne can make that same shot,
Okay.
but be short.
Third end, Switzerland and Norway. That's Manuela Corman from Lausanne playing Norway's Dordy Nordby, leading 2-1. Switzerland losing this morning to Canada. The Swiss have won 2 world championships since the world began in '79. The last was by Erika Müller back in 1983. And this is an open draw for 2. You see the stone center line back 12 foot, and this one will stop back 8 foot for 2. Switzerland leads 4-1 over Nordby.
As we watch the Swedish team play the come around on the corner guard. And that's the kind of spot that Canada was looking for, high in the house in front of the tee line.
Yeah, once again, a
Almost half.
little mistake by Marianne Way by slipping deep in the rings.
You have to hit that pretty skinny.
I think
to jam
just
it.
throw back line, Kim.
Okay.
Try to get almost to the nose to get it through there.
All right. Back line. So that's about 3, eh? Yep.
Back 12-foot weight.
We'll put it back a little.
Looks like lot. Pack.
Close.
Pack.
Close.
No.
Yep. Whoa.
pretty shot.
What a pretty shot is correct. Absolute what she asked for. Good call on the ice by Colleen and a great throw by Kim. 88% she curled this morning, so
Du har ju vicken emot i andra hand.
Ja, sant.
Vi vickar dit. Andra hand dit då.
Denmark and Germany, we've got a couple of teams that were in Salt Lake hooking up in this second draw. Denmark and Lene Bidstrup against Germany and Natalie Nessler. 1-0 Germany, and they stole that point in the first. They blanked the second, and this is an opportunity for Denmark to hit for a possible 2, but you can't hold the shooter, and so Denmark will have to settle for 1 in a 1-1 tie through 3.
Margaretta's looking to hit shot rock and roll over the side or in front of the Canadian stones.
Canada line 1.
Single, right. Oh, that's open.
Now they talk about ice being green. Do you think this ice, to use a car racing analogy, will the ice come to the players? Do you think will it eventually develop some kind of character after a little while, or?
well, yeah, I think it will. I think it can. I mean, obviously, it depends solely on the ice technicians. You know, we know that it looks like a pretty good foundation, and we know that the plant looks strong enough so that with the scraping and the pebbling, and they can get it to move a little bit if they so desire. I think they'll watch it closely. I don't expect huge crowds here. I just, you know, I mean, so it's you don't have to worry about that. It is fairly warm in the building, very comfortably warm for us for sure. I would think that looking out there, it looks even hot for some of the, especially those front ends.
It is warm here this week, sorry.
Yeah, and the design of the building, Vic, also lends itself to being very good for curling ice. You saw the sides, the height of the stands above the ice, and also the distance from the stands to the edge of the sheet means we have a little bit of area for air to flow and not drop right onto the sheet of ice.
I mentioned this is the home of the Dakota Wizards of the Continental Basketball Association, and they're into the playoffs. In fact, forced to move one of their playoff games away because of the championships. They also have an indoor football team here, the Bismarck Rough Riders. And I was wondering, I was going through their lineup, and I have to find out their kicker is a Buono. His name's Buono, and I was wondering if in fact that might be a Wally's son, but I'll find that out.
You do that, Vic.
Wally Buono, of
And
course,
this is
head
kind
coach
of
the Calgary Stampeders.
We're a little
busy.
I'll make some calls for you.
Take twice as many steps.
But we're just a little south of the Saskatchewan Rough Rider territory,
Yeah.
so sounds like an appropriate name. She's going to play this exactly the same way. Down to the face, just down to the face of it.
Right smack behind the guard.
Whose shot do you think?
We could just draw to it.
I think it might be the red. Definitely, in my opinion, it's the two that are equidistant across the ice rather than the one at the back. So the two that are the same area across from the tee line.
And I'm just going through the phone book trying to get Wally Bono's number.
No.
One at the back to me looks like third shot, so it's the other two that Nancy's just having a look
shot,
at.
you know. So I think I have to come right down to it.
What do you think it is right here? 4, eh?
It's possible that we're shot on the other side, but it's
This
be
is a good
close.
call.
What's it? What am I throwing
Just 4 this way.
them? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all the way to the back, you know.
That's true.
I don't want to leave them up, just in case they're not.
You want to go right back
Yeah,
to it.
because if we're not one.
Yeah. Then yeah, you can go 4.
Four-time Canadian champion Colleen Jones and her first stone here in the third. She leads 2-1. Sweden has the hammer.
Line's
Got
fine.
room, lot of room.
Lots of room.
Lots of room.
Where?
Back to it.
Okay.
A little
So
left.
lots of room.
Hog to hog time
As a
started at
line.
about 13 and a half and
Yeah, we're to
was
it.
creeping closer to 14.
Whoa. Whoa.
Get well. Not quite, I guess. Get over. Okay.
All right. She nudged it.
Yeah, did that little touch do enough to ensure that the rock on the other side of the 8-foot is second shot?
Oh, yeah, you moved it a little.
Den här är ju bättre.
Ja, nu är den det.
Men
Bättre.
Yeah, you threw it nice. We should be one.
I think she did touch it enough. I think that the Canadians are 1, 2.
det ser
So
nästan
she's just
ut
going to
som
play
man
the draw
behöver det
down
där,
here
va?
in front of this situation. Try and sit in here.
Nu är det här.
Right there.
Säg till om den är lång då. Vad har ni haft för tider då? Vad var hennes då?
So if somebody said in Sweden to me, where would you like us to put this? And I went, Mata hair, they would put it right there. Is that what you'd say?
I would think.
Okay. Maria Engholm.
93. Skala. Skala. Dryg 10. Dryg 10. Dryg 10. Är den dryg? Är den här? Ja.
We saw Colleen's number was 13.6, so that's a little bit stronger.
Ja.
It'll be tapping something.
Ja, bra. Det är helt okej.
Top of that, eh?
Bra.
Looks like Sweden is well, they are lying to one. It looks like they're
Give me an inch
only
more,
lying to one,
Nance.
but
Nance.
chance
Inch more.
a little more ice
I want to
there.
make sure I stay on that high side of it.
Okay.
Okay, we'll bounce.
Wants to draw near the face of it. But you heard no bounce because, of course, if you spill off, you might leave something for Sweden.
Line's good.
Final stone for Canada and Colleen Jones.
Whoa,
Line's fine.
whoa.
Whoa, it's got a curl. What are you doing?
Time, Linda.
All there.
13 and a half.
Line. Just to it.
We're to it.
Just to it. Just to it.
Way and Kim Kelly backing off.
Good shot.
And the lie one, and boy, the backing.
Det inte var så jävla lätt att få undan den där va?
Nej.
Well, there's a
Jag tror
long
att
guard
den
out in
kommer-
front now,
nej,
remember, and
Jag tror att den kommer sitta.
that rock's pretty well covered. So
Den måste hit för att vara... Kan man trycka den dit? Så.
Nej, spela draget.
Spela den.
Just playing the draw.
yeah, I think so, Vic. She's just playing down to it.
At first, I believe they were looking at trying to hit the center line corner of the yellow and see if they could move it to try and get a second point. But to me, it looks like they just decided that was not possible.
Drawing against one. Sweden and Maria Engholm. For weight only.
Ja, då är vi med då. Kosta rygg. Är med. Är med. Ja! Nej.
Nej, det är lite lugnt.
Ja! 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 Ja, det är bra försök.
First single. And Sweden will tie it here in the third. Through three, we're all even. 2-2, Sweden and Canada. The Swedish lead is Anna Lindholm. For Canada, Nancy Delahunt. The seconds, Annette Jornlund and Marianne Way. Throwing the third stones, well, Maria Engholm and Kim Kelly, and the two skips are Margareta Sigfridsson and Colleen Jones. Well, Linda mentioned these two countries are here for their experience, or trying to get experience. Korea for the very first time in a world championship. Russia for just the second time in a 2-2 tie as they play the fourth. The skip of this team from the Seoul Curling Club in Korea, Mi-Yoon Kim, has a chance to hit and stick for two, but can't hold the shooter. And that stone just on the outside of the 12-foot at around 4 o'clock. That's the go-ahead point, 3-2, as we update you. You're going to see a lot of blanks on the board. As Ray suggests, the ice is straight, not a lot of rocks in play. The one going just up now, and it'll be a 3-2 lead for Korea. Russia, team from Moscow, has the hammer. Switzerland with a deuce in the third, leading 4-1 over Dorty Nordway. Sweden scores the one to tie 2-2. And a blank in the second, and a 1-1 tie now, Denmark and Germany, as they play in the fourth. And we've got rocks in play again.
And Sweden threw up the short guard, and Colleen asked Nancy to come right around her. Linda, she made a great shot, and then they played a raise back, just a tap back. That's the one to remove.
And I talked about positioning of guards, but we weren't sure about come-arounds on the center line area. It seems also in this area to have a little bit of movement as long as your release is clean. But it's going to be with the quieter weights.
Other way? Yep, go now.
But with the system that we have in Canada, with the Canadian champion returning, we'll have a chance to see Colleen again next year at the Scott Turner Hearts. And I think if there was a Scott Turner Hearts without Colleen, they'd have to call the event off.
Well, she's been amazing lately. So many appearances, as we know, but to win it as she has, there's a big mistake.
Extra weight.
Go here, you guys.
Okay.
Well, she's been there, you know, she was there 17 years in a row and didn't win the Canadian Championship after her first win. And then all of a sudden she comes back and bang, bang, wins a couple.
Weight's good. We got top 8.
What a record.
Coming though. Coming.
Things really seem to change, Linda, I think, when she put this team together. They really do work together well.
And we talk about how difficult it is to find the combinations and to get the chemistry, if that's the word you want to use. But it definitely happened in 1999 when they just seemed to put it all together, I guess is the best way of saying it.
You're right, Nance. That was 8 all by itself, wasn't it? Yeah. We didn't really sweep it.
Så lucky girl. Ja, vi får spela dubbeln på de två. Det blir ju kvar här då, men...
Get them both.
Det är ganska tunn träff här.
It's kind of a balk ball, isn't it?
Annette Jornlund, who says she doesn't mind playing the second spot. Having skipped the team, skipped her own team, Linda.
We were just talking about Colleen's team and how they rearranged and have Nancy Delahunt holding the broom, for example, for Colleen. This Swedish team is one of those that has skips on the team, more than one, put it together, and then have somebody skipping and throwing third stones.
And at times this year, the
I know, that is there.
But I hate to leave
Jornlund actually was holding the brush.
Want to go there again?
What else do we have?
Well, we could hit and roll.
You heard
off
what she
that.
said.
That doesn't
I
really
hate
do
to
us
leave this one here, which would allow her to hit and roll over into this area here. But I hate to leave the come around, so she's going to come this way here.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Same.
Marianne Way.
Top 8.
Canada with the hammer in the fourth of a 2-2 tie.
Little shorter, actually.
Just a
Top
bite,
12.
bite, get
Gotta
a
go.
bite.
Okay, we got it.
That's enough. I don't know if Marianne can see it, but she's coming just ever so slightly full on those ears.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good one, Marianne.
Nice shot.
Good. Ska vi spela på mig?
I like it that it's open.
Switzerland and Norway as they play in the fourth. 4-1 Switzerland leading. And the final stone from Dordi Nordby. As we mentioned, this is her 14th appearance. She's now appearing in her 12th as a skip. She won in her very first appearance as a skip. That was in 1990, and then won it back-to-back. And here she makes the draw for a couple, and it's 4-3 Switzerland going to 5. I should explain what Colleen was mentioning to tell Marianne. Just slightly full on her delivery.
Sliding a little wide of the target line. That's what you were saying. It was a great shot that Marianne made. Colleen couldn't protect both the situations, and the Swedish team is now playing the hit and roll, trying to roll over in front of the stone in the forefoot, but no such luck. A little extra weight, and they just go straight down the ice.
You could roll either way.
I could. Roll in, I could roll out.
The roll away is almost as good as anything, don't you think, Lou?
Yeah, I do. And actually, the angle, no matter what you do, will not be quite as good for Sweden. That was a big opportunity for Sweden to try and get out of this end.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Scotland and the United States as they play in the fourth. 1-0 the USA. And they got that point on a steal in the second. They blanked the third. Final stone now for the Scots out of Aberdeen. And Jackie Lockhart in her sixth appearance at the World Championship. Her best performance, she was second in 1985 when they lost the final in 85, and they lost it to
Somebody sitting next to you?
Linda Moore in 1985, who went on and won the World Championship. And Jackie Lockhart was part of that Scottish team that you beat.
Skipped by Isabel Torrance.
Jag funderar om man skulle spela den. Men man får en sämre sten själv då.
Ja, den här är mycket bättre.
Ja.
Frågan om isen bara. Det var så. Ja, kanske lite till. Kan det vara det? Ja, det var. Ja.
One thing that Ray and I often talk about when ice is a little bit straighter, although we're seeing it start to come around a bit in this game, is playing these hits when you need the hit and roll from the inside to the outside. And that is exactly what's being done here. You can't always select that turn, but in this case, they have room to play either turn, it appears, and this is the better one, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. And we saw in the opening of our show, we saw Kim Kelly make a hit and roll from the outside in like this. This is exactly what Sweden needs right here. Is to catch this on the corner and roll over on top of the rock on the forefoot. Great shot.
Well, very nice roll to lie top of the button.
I don't know.
In a 2-2 tie.
What if we split the one that Marianne put there? We could split the one that Marianne put there.
I think
just
we just
to
have to split
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because then they have to guard one line
I don't
rock.
see anything else.
Yeah. Okay, so just
Split
two
that
line,
one.
guys. Back four.
Back 4, back 8.
Still four in a bit.
Linda, explain the thought here, because immediately when you see the opposition get shot stone, you think, well, how am I going to get to it? They're not even worrying about it at this point. They're just going to split it to lie second, third, and fourth shot.
Well, the nice thing for Sweden, if they'd actually rolled a little further, Kim could have utilized that yellow stone she's about to split and maybe moved it back onto shot rock. But Sweden rolled just to a place where it was very difficult to get at that rock. This is plan B now. They were going to try and split the front. They were trying to tap that. I don't think the tap was ever there to get it by the other yellow.
Absolutely not.
And so the jam now leaves Sweden lying one back of the button and covered.
The weight was fine by Kim. It just she just either got it outside a little bit or it didn't curl as much as Colleen thought.
So, Vic, you're right. They were setting up. Canada not concerned to get at shot rock because it really wasn't possible to do that. But the setup hasn't worked with that one miss.
And this end was setting well for Canada until that beautiful hit and roll. And the selection of the turn was the key, Linda. You're right.
I've gone to the other turn now, the straighter spot on the ice.
It's strange that they didn't play the same turn again, and they just played it perfectly.
Well, the Masters is all set to begin in Augusta, and the first round comes your way Thursday at 2 Eastern time. But there's a Masters preview. You'll see it's almost Masters Day really on TSN with classic Masters finishes, plus a preview and then the first round. And they've done a lot of alterations to the course at Augusta, Ray. They're trying to, some of the big hitters, of course, they're just out driving the holes now. And they've lengthened several holes.
You might have something to bounce, you know, bump.
Yeah,
that's exactly
okay.
what
That's
I
an
need.
option. The only other thing would be to try to sort of raise this back to here and stay there in front of it, but then she's just going to guard and you're left with that. Yeah. No, that's as good as anything.
Klein, you can pick that red.
We've got to get to, I see,
Well, not with why with that line, just draw.
to move this one.
Or draw, if you wanted to move it back line, but
I'd be happy to sit shot.
you've got pretty
not a bad
much
call.
a little.
Is that what you're playing?
1 3/4.
Yeah, just with bump.
Okay.
Draw bump. So back 8-ish.
You know,
Yeah?
do you think it'll move that much? Yeah?
Say what?
Think it'll move that much?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes. Based on, based on Marianne's.
She could play off this one
What?
here.
Bump it up.
Mine stayed awful straight. I don't
Try
know,
and
maybe I
roll
did
into
that too.
Yeah,
this
It felt
area
pretty
here.
good.
I'll take
playing-
a hair less.
Playing the
'cause I
bump
am
on this
throwing
one.
bump.
Yeah, you have to throw a little more. Okay, that looks good.
Hair less again. Less.
So by tightening up
back
the
8.
ice, Linda, does she think that it won't curl that much?
Enough to
Because
bump
you're
it up.
adding a little bit of weight, Vic, it's not cold to the button draw. It's actually a little bit extra. Kim was concerned about the ice. She thought it would run a little straight, and now Colleen has agreed.
Whoa! No, lots of line.
I tried to tell her from mine, but
Whoa!
we need to go if we can.
You can't.
When we can.
Yeah, you just can't. It's trying. Yeah, get on that one, Kim. Leave us something. Okay.
Okay, nice weight.
But Sean Stone is
I was
still
trying to discreetly
Sweden
say,
without the hammer
I think
here in the fourth.
Ja. Nej, okej. Ja, vad har de att spela på? Nej. Okej, vad har de att spela på? Den.
Eller sin egen. Det känns nästan som att den egna är farlig.
De måste ju spela den ganska hårt för de får bara träffen där.
Ja, hur är det att lägga så här då?
Ja.
What Sweden is looking at is all the possibilities that Canada might have with their last stone. And they're kind of sizing things up, because you heard Nancy Delahunt on Colleen's last rock try to tap things, Vic, to try and free things up for their last shot, and they didn't really do that.
Vi tänker lite utsida på den.
Jag var inne på dubbeln först och jag sa tvär nej till det.
Nej, det är farligt.
So the decision is to protect the tap or the run back for Colleen on that top yellow stone.
The top yellow that's 8-12. Just with 12 foot or something? Just with.
Would you consider even maybe wiggling off your own and coming in for a second one? Or would you just protect all the way guard all the way?
You could hit and roll in, Vic. There's no question about that. She's just decided to play the guard.
Okej, kör då. Ja, lite mer läcker det. Hake.
Nära.
Läcker det. Nej. Hake. Nej.
That's no.
I mean, there's nothing here.
They're not really looking at
You
it.
can play the draw bump on that, but this almost gives a couple more options for you.
Yeah.
And there's no way, this is 2 and 3, so there's no way we can take both of those yellows out.
Yeah, there,
Yes,
yeah,
there is.
there is.
Yes,
If you
there
hit
is.
this
That's
here,
right.
there to there.
That's right.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Do you guys like the run back?
Yeah.
She doesn't think there's enough movement out here on the side.
There is a way they can steal
Come
two
off
with
of this
it.
one.
If this came back this way, Marianne, it could.
That's the one they're talking about.
But you know what? Yeah.
If I hit it here, Marianne, that's all.
If it
I hit
came
it
back
there.
on here, it would just jam here, and it would be 2, but. Yeah. That's very true, actually. That one would probably.
Stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
I do like it though. But I think the risk is there that you could.
Linda has a skip, though.
Tricky though.
And you're right. I guess they see the possibility of a steal of 2, but you could actually score your deuce. And at worst, don't you look at the scoreboard and say, you know what, we're still only in the 5th. We're only in the 4th here.
Yeah, definitely that is a factor, Vic. And it's one of those things where Colleen feels very confident. Now, the one thing about this ice, it is straight enough that if you throw them cleanly, you're pretty assured of how this is going to travel, right? It's not going to move.
No, I still think you could just wick in off the outside one, the red one.
Final stone
To get to
here
the
in the 4th of a 2-2
You can't get rid of the
tie.
stone, but you can get to the button.
Way and Kelly trying to hold the line. Run it back. Straight back. Red, and she'll run it by. And so it'll be a steal of 1 for Sweden here in the 4th, and they'll take a 3-2 lead.
It's a nice throw, Colleen.
Good shot.
Nearing the midway point of this second women's draw, and let's update you on Korea, Russia, both looking for their first win. And Korea with a 3-2 lead. Final stone from the Russian skip. This is 22-year-old Olga Yarkova from the Moskvich Curling Club in Moscow in their second appearance at the World Championship. A year ago, she was playing 3rd for Nina Golovchenko when they finished 9th. And here she has the draw for 3 and makes it perfectly. So the 3 spot for the Russians will give them a 5-3 lead over Korea going to the break. Switzerland and Norway 4-3. And Norway, you see, is lying 1 on the button. This is the final stone by the Swiss skip, Manuela Korman. In her second appearance at the World Championships, she was 9th back in 1997. The rest of her team out of the Lausanne Olympic Curling Club, all rookies, did it hang on for 1, and they'll look and measure. So we'll update you as soon as the measure is over. As our featured game goes to the 5th, and the steal of 1 has Sweden in front 3-2. Canada. Colleen Jones out of the Mayflower Club in Halifax with the hammer.
First stone for Sweden, just short of the rings, as you see it being tapped up now, and Colleen's rock is a corner guard.
Get them both.
Nancy Delahunt.
Yep.
Come on, the other one.
Yep, right up. Clean.
Oh, we're good.
Good, Nat.
Nice shot.
Köpa den är väl bra?
Ska vi köpa?
Yellowstone's in a dangerous spot. Good spot for Canada, dangerous for Sweden, and so they'll make a play on it. It's in that control zone.
Normal. Normal. Rent. Ja.
Annette Jornlund.
Ja. Här rent. Lite mjukare än normal.
Bra Anette. Bra. Gud vad de studsar.
Ja. Roll off the other fella. I know that's tight, but...
Is the other one in?
Yeah.
Jag hade jättesvårt en omgång. Det var liksom fel sida hela tiden.
Yeah.
We can't peek it. Yeah, this is good.
Peeking it live at the game between Scotland and the U.S. as they play in the 5th. 2-1, the Scots from Aberdeen leading, and you can see they are lying to top 4 and back 8. The skip of the U.S. team out of the Madison, Wisconsin Curling Club is Patty Lank, the native of Weyburn, Saskatchewan, in her 3rd appearance at the World Championships. She lost the final to Elizabeth Gustafson back in 1999 and has a very experienced team in Erica Brown, Allison Pottinger, Allison originally from Brampton, Ontario, and the lead, Natalie Nicholson, from just down the road in Grand Forks.
Hurry, grab. Come on, come on.
Trying to draw full 4, grab a piece, and oh, they just left it. They had to leave it just to get the curl, and it'll come up a little light. Now they'll look, is it 1 or 2 for Scotland? And as we take a closer look, it looks like it just may be 2. 1 certainly for Scotland. And it is a deuce. 2 for Scotland. Steal of 2. They'll lead 4-1 over the U.S. as they go to the 5th end break. Scotland looking to win 2 in a row. The United States lost their opener this morning to Denmark 9-5.
That rock looked like it almost caught something because it went kind of sideways on them just at the end, that draw. I mean, I'm not suggesting it had enough weight to get to the forefront, but it certainly looked like it just went sideways on them. And we expect Patty Lank to be very competitive here, and she lost her game this morning to a good team, to Denmark. I mean, that is a good team as well. I think finished 3rd last year, but I looked at the stats, Linda, as you do too,
Yeah.
and the Americans really curled badly in that game this morning. If the numbers mean anything at all, I mean, Patty was below 50%, so you don't expect that from someone of her level, because that is a good team. That's a good, very experienced team. And Patty's had, good success in our country in cash bond spills over the years and stuff.
And although it's early in round robin play, this is a long day and a very important day with all the teams playing 2 games. And as you say, the U.S. team curling 60% as a team in that first game, and really looking like they're in trouble in this one, and that would be a very bad start.
Annars så vickar vi ju dit då.
Den här är okej då.
Ja.
Canada sitting 2 and Sweden trying the hit
Ska
and
jag spela
roll.
clearing eller ska jag spela uppspelad?
Clearing.
Clearing, ja.
She's now talking about playing clearing weight, which we call peel.
Margareta Sigfridsson.
It's a very tough double if that's what she was trying with that big weight.
Near that beautiful rock.
Are we tempted?
Linda Ray, I just want to correct something. With the way they kicked the stone away, I assumed it was 2 for Scotland against the U.S., but it's gone on the board as a steal of just 1, and so Scotland with a 3-1 lead over the U.S.
I don't think he'll
when
get
they
anywhere
resume in the
near there,
6th.
Okay,
That's okay,
so
Vic.
still 4-2-ish.
Pat, start
4.
mistake first
Just
day.
4 here.
Okay. Okay.
Kim Kelly.
That's a lot. Yeah, it is.
We've got room around the guard, but make sure it's
Lots of weight.
Where is it?
It's okay. It's T.
Got all kinds of room.
We can go a bit.
Yeah, go.
Colleen trying to tuck it in behind this
No,
rock.
it's T.
Good.
12 foot.
Good, Kim. Nice weight. Good throw.
Okay.
Just no finish.
That was hog to hog wolf for the first time.
So several of the games now have reached the midway point, and there you see the steal of just 1 for Scotland. 3-1 they lead the U.S. as they take their break. They've picked up play now in the 6th, and you see Russia with a 5-3 lead over Korea. Norway steals 1, and so they have a lead. Or no, it's a tie. Add it up, Vic. 2 and 1 and 1 is 4. 4-4 is the score there. Our featured game is 3-2. And at the break, Germany with a 3-2 lead over Denmark. You may have been one of the first people to see her, Sigfridsson, because it was Kurosawa and the World Juniors. Were you not there, Linda?
I was.
Yeah, in '97, when she lost the final to Scotland and Julia Ewart.
Yes, I do it again.
I think Ray and I were in the studio in a TSN control while you were in Kurosawa.
That seems like
We were, Victor.
About the same.
And we talk about the change from moving from the junior level to the adult level, and it is a big jump. But that was quite a team that this team did beat in the Swedish league play, which
Not
earned them
coming
the
over
right to
there.
these World Championships. Elizabeth Gustafsson.
Okay. Ooh, that dug in, didn't it?
It's a double round robin,
Kim.
and they play in Sweden, and they held it over about 3 weekends.
Hade vi så?
Nej, vi hade mer.
But even by
Yeah,
your own
yeah,
admission,
maybe
Ray, and it
that's
goes back to what
what
you said about the lack of the depth. There may only be 4 really competitive, maybe 5 at the most competitive teams in Sweden.
Yep, Sweden's a lot better than some of the other countries, though, Vic. They do have some, you know, we saw Matilda last week, a good, strong junior team, women's junior team out of Sweden. And the Olympic exposure is going to help all those countries. There'll be a little bit more funding. There'll be a little bit more promotion of the game.
Maria Engholm.
Canada constructing another very nice end. Sitting 2 well spread out, looking for a roll. It saved them last end. Not quite far enough.
When you talk about the benefits of the Olympics, remember when Helena Black won the silver medal at Nagano, it resulted in curling clubs being built. I think 2 of them in Denmark. The win by Scotland, the women in Salt Lake, there's talk of a club being built in England now, that outside of London. In Finland, they have for the first time a club, actually. In Helsinki, an indoor club, Markku Juuso-Pavoniemi, they played for 15 years outdoors, covered by a tarp. Now they're actually playing inside for the first time.
yeah, I mean, all that is really encouraging, you know,
taking
for
lots
the
of ice
people,
here,
all
'cause I
of
don't
us that
want it
love
to
this
stick
sport so
there.
much and want to see
Yes.
it grow around the world and obviously keep its Olympic status. And that's very important to the game. I think it's a wonderful game for the Olympics. It's a win-lose game. It's not a judgment game.
Whoa! 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 Other way.
Hard, Nance. Oh, dear.
Okay.
Pretty flat when it hits.
It's a bad handle.
Good throw, though. I thought.
I don't think it was a great handle.
No?
It was soft.
4-time skip champion Colleen Jones. I mean, it's just remarkable. Then she won the Worlds last year, and she beat Sherry Anderson to win her championship in Brandon, 2nd in a row, and now looks to become the fourth skip to win a back-to-back world championship.
And if I remember correctly, she curled 99% in that final game. 98 or 99%.
Won her first Canadian title in 1982, so over the span of 20 years, she has been at the top of the game in Canada. It's an amazing record that she has, and I believe, Vic, this week she'll be at her about 200th win if you look at all the things that she's played and all the levels of play, and it's quite amazing.
Needs the roll here to get out of trouble.
Peek out the other side.
I think it did, Victor.
Fint spelat, Maria.
You're talking about Linda, all the wins. Pointed out to us that if Colleen can come back and win this, it would be win 199. You look back on her career through junior, through Canadian mixed, women's play, and world play. So she sits right now 198.
Too much ice there? No.
And you know, and we've pointed it out before, she gets ready for her final stone. You talked earlier about Elizabeth Gustafsson out of Sweden and the lack of desire, and maybe, well, Doherty Nordby is a prime example of somebody who's lost at times the drive. You could never question that about Colleen Jones. She's always wanted to win. She's always wanted to play at the top level.
And it's not easy, Vic, and I think she said it best after the Scott Tournament of Hearts that this arena is her arena. She loves to be out there. She loves to play the game, and she continues to excel at it.
Final stone here in 5. 3-2 Sweden, Canada with a chance for 2 to take the lead.
Straight off, I think, Mira. Oh, yeah, it's good. Clean. Great shot.
She threw that very well.
What a wonderful throw. What a 2, yes. Nice shot. 2 yellow.
Canada picks up a pair here in 5, so they'll go to the break.
What a great throw.
Canada,
I have to say, I was thinking, is it
with a 4-3 lead over Sweden.
But it was a lovely throw.
Hi, I'm David Nedwin from Team Canada. Watch us next on TSN.
We will watch you tonight at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. It's the second draw for the men as we play 4 draws on this opening day of these Ford Worlds from Bismarck, North Dakota. The men were on the ice at noon local time, and Denmark beats the reigning Olympic champion as Ulrich Schmidt beats Paul Trulsen. Switzerland and the 98 gold medal winner from Nagano, Patrick Hurleman, loses to Scotland and Warwick Smith from Perth. Finland and Marko Jussi-Pavoniemi, he's a winner over Sweden. The U.S., Paul Pustavar, he's out of Madison, Wisconsin, a winner over Japan. And Team Canada and Randy Ferbey, they scored 2 with the hammer in 6, stole 1 in 7, stole 3 more in 9, and that was the difference. 9-7, they win over Kreidel of Austria.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Briar, by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment, and by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
Before we begin the 6th, time to check the numbers after 5, and they're brought to you by True Value. Linda?
If there's one thing you have to be at these World Championships, that's patient, because it's felt like all Canada, and when you look at the numbers, it has been as far as shot making goes, but they have that 1-point lead only. That big steal by Sweden on a beautiful hit and roll, and you know what? They almost got out of trouble last end in 5 by another great hit and roll. But you have to just hang in there if you're Canada. They've had some good opportunities to score the deuces, and you have to keep plugging away at those.
Well, Colleen's generated a couple of nice points, some great play. In the end, they stole, and you're right, a great hit and roll. Otherwise, the Canadians are going to get multiple points there. Where is Warwick Smith from, Vic, again?
He'd be from Perth.
From Perth.
Perth. Don't you remember when we were there, we were told?
Yeah, yeah, I've been there many times. I curled there in the World Championships, actually. I thought it was Perth, but it could be Perth.
Yeah.
I think it was the same place. Perth.
I've got the wrong broom, and you've got my knobs. I've got your water down there, though. I think we're all fixed up now.
You got the water where?
Well, you had 2 water bottles here. So.
I thought you may have wanted to forget Perth.
I knew it was just a matter of time before you'd
There was
mention
that pause.
Yes, we did lose, Vic. We were the first Canadian team to ever lose. Now that we have that out of the way, let's move on to Perth.
Okay. And I had to ask Anna Lindholm if she was any relation to the Canadian or the reigning world champion, Peter Lindholm from Sweden. She said no. Thanks for asking.
No. Please.
Come on, Coyle. There we go. Nice shot.
Another open end with the rock coming in, an exchange of hits. This one's rolling to the edge.
Action. Yes, now that I've got the right.
Anna also played in that '97 World Junior Championship in Kurosawa. And that was the test event for the '98 games in Nagano, the curling being held in Kurosawa.
Well, the test event as far as trying out the facility, Vic, you're right. When they try to do that with every Olympic Games where the World Juniors the previous year is held in that location, so the committee can run through things, as we saw in Ogden last year when they were hosting the Olympics this year.
In the future, we could be looking forward to maybe Whistler holding that World Junior.
Well, it'll be Vancouver, but you're right.
Yeah.
If Vancouver does get the Olympics in 2010, it is the 2 cities, Vancouver, Whistler, that host. Whistler doing the snow events and Vancouver the ice events.
The Advanced Wellness Center is where Marianne Way works.
Nice shot.
This is a lovely shot.
Nice right, Marianne.
Sweden threw up the corner guard, and once again, Colleen defends it. And the key, by going around it, and the key, of course, is keeping the rocks in front of the tee line. And that's exactly what Marianne Way did.
Ja, det gör vi.
Sweden has the hammer here in the 6th. They trail 4-3.
Just tap it back. Back 12-foot weight.
Sneak it by, they do.
Stay there. Don't say goodbye to the guard.
And it'll stop at the back edge of the 12.
I think you could throw a regular, Marianne.
It's a nice shot for Sweden. They don't mind the Canadian stones in the back of the house. They actually might be a benefit at some point if Canada makes a mistake and jams a rock onto those stones.
Regular.
Go the other way.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Okay.
Chance for the roll. Even a half a roll is a good stone here because of those 2 stones that Linda mentioned at the back of the rings that they could certainly come into play. So you're just looking for a little movement in behind the corner guard if possible.
Annette Jornlund.
I thought they might play that a little more quietly as we saw Canada more successfully make the rolls with the quieter weight, especially in this spot.
Same weight as yours.
Regular.
Yeah. I think so.
Kim works at the Queen Elizabeth II or the QE2 Health Center.
Oh, I must have done that. Ooh.
There's that situation you talked about, Linda. She may have thought she started that, got that going with her release.
No.
And it over curled in a spot that hasn't been curling very much, so she may have got that started. Trying to hear what she has to say to Marianne Way as she walks down the ice.
Ray, when I go back and think about what you said, you and Linda talking before the game, and you were saying last year the mistake the teams made playing up and down the sheet with Colleen. Would you give credit now to the Swedes and the way they've approached this game?
Yeah, she's tried to get some things going, and here's a good example of the corner guard that she put up coming into play. The stats really showed that the Canadians have been outplaying them overall. That's the key here. But this is a golden opportunity. There's the two Canadian stones at the back in the 12-foot, and you got a corner guard up. If you can get this even a quarter around, you just got to get it tucked around a little bit. All of a sudden, it becomes a tough shot to get out of there. But that just didn't curl at all. So that's another indication that Kim may have got that one, really got that one started. Linda.
She saw that I threw.
Same weight, Kim.
Okay. Yeah, she did.
All the scores for you now as we've passed the midway point.
Jag tyckte nästan jag satte den så. Men det...
Okay, better throw. Better throw. Clean.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
Nose hit is fine here.
All right, guys.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Little bounce at all? Anything?
Nice shot, Kim. Beauty.
Den lär ju tryckas in då, men... Spela där.
Linda, when the ice is like this, I may be answering my own question here, but do you go out with a
Spela sådär.
your team plays a certain way, then you have to adapt to the ice, basically? Is that what it is?
That's right, and most teams at this level have had to do that, Vic, over the course of a season, or at least over the course of playing in a variety of bonspiels on different ice surfaces. We know that this ice will keep changing. We've talked about the fact this is the first day of play. They've had time to practice on it before this, but it does change ice like this, and we know that it will get a little more curl in some spots, maintain perhaps some straight spots elsewhere, and you just have to take what it does give you in all of those different spots.
Just rolled a little too far. Nice attempt.
Does the ice, when it's like this, Ray, level the playing field?
Yeah.
Do you think? Does it
I think
favor
so.
some teams that may not have the draw skills or the come around skills?
I think so. I think obviously that the teams
I don't think I'm going to stay now. Roll out then. Okay.
that lends a little bit more to the defensive side of the game. I think has a little bit more, an advantage. Most of the teams that like to play the offense do like lots of curl in the ice surface, and so they can get around things. And they also know that nowadays we play an ice arena ice that when you do step the weight up, it'll run very straight. And we see our top teams, and you'll see one tonight, of course, Randy Furby.
It does.
When they step it up, they'll throw the big solid weight. They almost put the brush exactly where they want to hit the stone.
Nice throw.
Colleen does the weather and sports for CBC Morning.
Whoa!
He didn't give her much rest after her win in Brandon. She was back on the air
That's a nice shot.
on the Monday morning from Winnipeg.
That's a nice
from
shot.
the Forks.
That was a lovely throw. Yeah. I think she thought it wasn't on it.
Great. Beautiful throw. Strong this way. Apparently.
I like this call that she's making. She knows it runs straight, but she's going to try and get just by this one here. Try and get the stone into this area here. Take advantage of this guard. This is a very tight rock to try and get around, and we've seen very little movement, so I like the call. And if it doesn't work, she can always
Get to the outside. Still trying to generate her deuce.
It's a good chance for us to see this spot. We've seen so much play from the center line around the corner guard, but not from this wide side. We're talking about it being a little strong, so they decided to bring it down and tap that one.
Boy, it's exactly what we said about reading the ice.
Well, just air, maybe.
I said it might curl a foot. I mean, I think that was a vast exaggeration. It just, it never curled. It didn't curl an inch.
Although this is our,
We see so much ice that curls that you just, it's hard to believe sometimes when you get on ice that's straight like this. Colleen can see it all.
Give me edge.
Yeah.
I'd like to stay at a 4-2.
Okay.
I don't think I can overthrow this here. I mean, she just draw on it.
Yes, exactly.
Rolled there because of the bouncing off the control.
Final stone for Canada, and Colleen Jones in the 6th. She leads 4-3. Sweden has the hammer.
Yep. Hard!
Boy, she get it going. Now
Clean.
she's
Whoa.
just a little bit of a panic attack.
Just clean.
We waited a long time to watch Colleen Jones miss an out-turn hit.
Nice one.
To line 2.
That's a lovely throw.
She wanted to stay in the rings, to sit 2, to force the opponent with last rock to make a good shot. So it looks like it's a tough job for Sweden to come back and win this game with Colleen's great record, win leading after 5. And they have been relentless, this Canadian team, setting up good ends, and in this case, setting up 2 in the house. And this draw has to be full 12-foot, close to the 8-foot.
Facing a couple with her last one, Maria Engholm. Sigfridsson out to join Jornlund and Lindholm.
Nice looking shot.
Nice throw, you're right.
Top 4 for the single to tie it through 6. Sweden, Canada 4-4 on this opening day of the Ford Worlds. Updating you on all the scores, Scotland continues to lead the Americans, and the Scots from Aberdeen have the hammer. Russia has the lead there, and they have the last rock. Norway down by 1 with the hammer as Dordy Nordby gets ready to throw. 4-4. Canada has the hammer back there, and Denmark trailing by a couple with the hammer in the 7th against Germany.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this one a little better.
So up and down the sheet this time?
Yeah, the first rock came in and Colleen hit it. So we're on our way to a pretty open end, I would think, unless there are some wide open misses.
Nice one, Nance.
Good job.
Annette Jornlund.
Sweden have to consider themselves fairly fortunate. We talked about the numbers after 5, and at that point the Swedish front end were curling both 45%, and the Canadian front end were curling both 83%. And here we have a tie score, playing 7.
Marianne Way.
Regular. Clean only. It's clean.
Not trying to generate the offense with last rock, you know, can be a very dangerous thing. We saw that. Let's go back. Let our thoughts go back a little bit, Linda, to the junior when we saw David Hamlin. Of course, congratulations to David for winning the World Junior. But we saw him play his final game against Sweden, and it was a 2-2 game coming home. And with the 4-rock rule, you can certainly get that front up. And Carlson, the young Eric Carlson, the Swedish skip, had a chance to get it to his rock to the 4-foot, buried, and he came up a little short, and David Hamlin made a great shot. But I bring this up now because this is a situation where sometimes when you let the game slide along to that 9th and 10th end without trying to generate some offense, and you know, things can go wrong for you. This is the kind of game that we know Colleen likes to play, but she did generate 2 points earlier by utilizing corner guards in both cases. So the first corner guard she threw up, she got the opportunity to do so because the first rock thrown went through the rings.
Control.
And that means she has to decide now if she's able to hold the hammer through this end, blanket, whether or not to make the move in 8, as we sometimes see teams want to do.
You wave nice shot. Nice shot. A little bit. Still not a lot of curling in going on. No.
And you can hear Kim Kelly saying not a lot of curl in the ice still. Fourth championship, 4th game against Sweden for Colleen Jones, and she lost her first 2 games against the Swedes back in 1982. Her first time, Linda, was against Elizabeth Hagström. And then in '99, she lost Elizabeth Gustafsson. Last year, she won for the first time against the Swedes and Annette Norberg.
Both of those first 2 Swedish teams, Vic, very good teams. Elizabeth Hagström won the Worlds in '81, and of course in '99 it was Gustafsson winning. So they were fine teams that she did play.
Checking out the game between Scotland and the United States.
Regular.
3-2, the Scots leading.
More than
Jackie Lockhart.
Okay.
In her 6th appearance at the World Championship out of the Lawrence Kirk Curling Club in Aberdeen. The rest of her team all making their first appearances, with Sheila Swan, Catriona Fairweather, and Ann Laird. Look at that, the split for 1, 2, and 3 for Scotland. What a nice shot by Jackie Lockhart to take control now, 6-2 over the U.S.
Ja, försiktigt. Lite fart än förra. Ligger bra. Lite tyngre än förra. Det ligger jättefint. Ta gärna lite vick in om det går. Bra.
Was I firm there or just regular?
Regular.
Okay.
Kim Kelly.
God, careful now with this baby. Not good. Whoa.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Get over. Charlie, get over.
Sorry, Colleen, that was just a funny throw.
Now to the game between Korea and Russia as they play in the 7th. And look at all the yellow stones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Final stone on its way from 22-year-old Olga Yarkova.
Level var 95, va?
They were 10th at Salt Lake, and here have an opportunity to blow it open against Korea. Skipped by Mi-Yun Kim, making their first appearance at the World Championship. Just put it in the paint and count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put them on the board. Russia 10-4 now as they go to 8.
Gärna Karl, måste in. Flott! Bra jobbat!
Thrower a blast off. Don't give me a corner now. I'm committed to the flag.
Maria just putting it into the top of the 12-foot, and you heard Colleen saying that she had planned this end to play the blank.
Sorry about the fix.
And Kim's talking about the fact that on some of her releases, she's fixing it. She thinks she's sliding a little inside and perhaps puts the rock back, and that's why her rocks are not working out. That last one went very straight. It was the release that really caused that.
Regular. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Clean. Clean.
Yeah, and it won't go far away, you know.
Nice shot.
Nice one. Nice throw. Yeah, they are.
Well, you won't miss a thing, of course. Let's go to the game between Germany and Denmark as they play in the 7th. And Germany is that yellow stone with some backing. Final stone now for Denmark. And there's skip Lenny Bidstrup out of Hidovra. The bronze medal winners a year ago in Lausanne, playing Natalie Nessler and the team from Garmisch. Finds the hole and a little rub. Very nice, quiet tap back weight to score the single. And it is 4-3 Germany with the hammers. They go to the 8th.
I think I need an inch more for the blank.
Gröta lite
This
senare.
looks good for the blank, I think.
Gröta lite senare.
There.
Oh, we're in further, aren't we?
Little inch more.
Yeah, you're right.
They played this way in wide open, both teams. Colleen looking for the blank.
Ray Linda, a good friend of ours, a former director of the Canadian Curling Association, Muriel Fage. And in fact, I think she not the head of the committee, the chairperson of the committee, the Halifax Scott a few years ago. Really a wonderful lady. Her father is celebrating his 80th birthday today. Ken Fage is in Amherst, Nova Scotia. So we say happy birthday to Mr. Fage.
Best wishes for
Sorry,
sure.
guys. Didn't mean to roar at you.
So up and down they
It
go.
was a nice throw.
Here in 7, it stays 4-4. And now it's decision time for Canada and Colleen Jones.
You know?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Randy Furby from Team Canada. Watch us tonight on TSN.
And make a note of the time, 10 Eastern time, 7 Pacific, as the men get a late start for their second draw. And Randy Furby will try to open with 2 straight wins as he plays Sweden and Per Carlson. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. From the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota, and this opening day of the Ford Worlds in a 4-4 tie. So first stone is in from Sweden, and up goes the corner. So decision made by Colleen Jones, Linda.
I don't think she could really wait. It's one of these games where you're so concerned, as Ray pointed out earlier, that if you had one mistake when you play this wide open, you could actually lose this game after having complete control as far as shot making goes for Canada.
Håll gärna lite.
Anna Lindholm.
Ganska nära. Ja. Okej, nu då. Den kommer köla över. Den kommer köla över.
Tror du?
Well, Colleen's plan was very clear, Linda. She wanted to blank that 7th end to try and get the extra point in the 8th end. First rock to the rings, and Colleen ignored it completely and threw up the corner guard.
These player comparisons are brought to you by Nokia.
Something we see from Nancy a lot, and that's good games, but you can't get better than that. 100% for Nancy. And I mentioned the great discrepancy between the front ends, the Canadian front end with the big numbers, and Anna at 59%.
I can't remember the last time we saw that 100, 100, 100.
Of course, we
across the board, 100, 100, 100.
We might have just jinxed her for the rest of the game, but so far so good.
Well, right there, you know what you did, you did, you did.
It's like the no-hitter, eh, Vic?
Yeah.
What a bounced off it anyway. So might just.
Vad tycker ni? Ja då, den där ser också bra ut.
Ja, den är också bra.
Då gör vi den tycker jag.
Hitting and rolling either way would
Det ser
be
lite
good,
lättare
they
ut. Det
said.
är okej att vicka lite långt på den ju.
Okej.
Annette Jornlund.
Doable, Marianne? I don't know if there's a double or not. I don't know how even they are. Hit and roll anyway.
I think it might bounce that a bit.
That's okay and roll behind.
Marianne Way, as we play in the 8th of a 4-4 tie.
Yep, regular.
Great. I go the other way.
Want to flop the other way?
Big scrub from Kim Kelly and Nancy Delahunt. Oh, they just sneak it by. Can they hold the shooter? No, they just actually push it behind now, and Sweden is lying 2 without.
Well, that was a big mistake by somebody, Marianne, who we normally don't see that kind of mistake from, as you see her numbers at 89%. Great draw numbers at 93. And Annette, the Swedish second, at 61. I mentioned a tie game, and one end can really turn things around.
Hake nära. Bara över.
Okej.
Nej, hake. Hake.
Okej.
Hake nära.
Okej.
Ja.
Ja. Ja.
Rakt. Nästa framkant.
Nej. 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 Ja, 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 ja. Kom igen nu, kom igen nu.
It's a nice guard. They tuck it around a little bit. Lovely shot. Yeah, that's a mistake you don't see Marianne make very often, for sure. That was basically a wide open miss. And
3/4, Marianne.
double peel we're looking for
Piece
here.
of that. Peel.
Try and get them both.
Yep, big peel. Yep.
Kelly. Delahunt trying to open it up. Sweden is lying 2. Run it back. Catch 2. Gets them both.
She did, Vic, but they were hoping to hit it slightly differently and not leave that yellow stone in the position that it now sits in front of the 2 Swedish stones. As I said, it is our color now, but it's a long way out to use it to run it back.
Försök ungefär samma. Den är bra om den är lite gömd, men helt okej om den är där.
The one thing as a player you have to be so careful with on ice like this, where it's relatively straight and you know you cannot be outside on any release or you will miss. You have a tendency to start getting the hand coming over, and that is being a little bit inside, and that's why you end up nose hitting those peels and sometimes over curling the open hits.
Gärna lite kort. Ja. Riktning. Koste på fart. Det är kort.
Säg hur lång den är.
Mitt emellan. Ja, den ligger rätt emellan. Mitt emellan. Bara stanna då. Ja. Ja. Ja.
Kändes som det knappt var över från början tyckte jag.
That's the way to go. Although, yeah. And we could get the double.
Do you like the straight back?
Oh, definitely.
I'd like to get rid of both.
Well, she's just gonna throw a guard.
I like the straight back. Well, I gotta keep this open for me.
But the straight back
will open those up. They've got a guard over
The
there.
numbers narrow a bit at the
we might even
group
roll
that are throwing
behind it with
third
the straight
stones,
back.
Margrethe and Kim. Kim with the slight edge right
No
now.
guarantee double peel, right?
See the great numbers on hits for Margrethe.
We can still get to the 4 around that. If they have to guard this, right? If we don't make
Go around?
No, I like the straight back.
Oh.
Colleen wants to play the double peel on those 2 rocks.
I know, but no.
The ladies want to play the straight back, this rock onto these ones.
Yeah, I know.
What Colleen wanted to do was play these two off, looking for the double peel. They're playing the straight back. You heard the reasoning?
I talked about the fact that this one's made a little bit tougher because of the distance the rock is out in front.
Kim Kelly. Straight back. 1, 2, move it off the forefoot.
That's what you wanted to play.
It's a great shot, though. This is open.
Jeepers. You know what, girls?
Great
that
shot,
looked
Kim.
like it was nose, and then the same thing. It just didn't finish. We didn't need to sweep it.
But you heard Nancy and Marianne say that the red rock in the rings now is now wide open.
Vi funderar på den eller på den. Alltså, om vi lämnar den där så kommer ju de i viken, tycker jag.
Okej, ska vi lägga kvar?
Den tycker jag är marginal. Jag tycker att det där borde bli.
Ja, det tror jag.
Russia's 5 blew it open against Korea as we go to that game in the 8th. And the final stone on its way from the rookie Korean skip, Mi-Yoon Kim, out of the Seoul Curling Club, against Olga Yarkova from Moscow.
Det ser inte ut som att de har en vick på den där, för jag ser så bara. Men jag tycker ändå att vi
And this is a
spelar
drive.
den
We'll see
där,
one bite in the top 4. And draw against 2. Nice shots to pick up the single. And it's a 10-5 game as they go to 9. And Linda, they're going to continue to play there, which I think is probably the wise thing. May as well get the experience in.
Yeah, it's tough at this level, but it is the truth that that team from Korea needs a chance to be out on that ice. They don't get a lot of chance to play at this level. We saw Sweden now make the switch. They were going to play a draw around near their other stone, but we know how tough that spot is to get something buried. So they're going back to hitting the Canadian rock.
Give Canada a chance to get out of this.
Yeah, I don't agree with the call. I think her first idea was the best to take. It's the 8th then. It's a tie game. She had Canada a little bit of trouble to play the come around and, or maybe even half guard the back one. But now it's a chance for Colleen to get not only get out of it, to get the little hit and roll here. If Kim makes another good shot, put herself in a position to score the deuce that she set out to get in this end. I know you hate leaving the opposition stones in the rings when you don't have the hammer, but it was just one of those situations where it was sitting not too badly for you.
Get it by, they do. Nice brushing by Delahunt and Way, and now the inside roll too. And boy, it's turned around here in Canada's favor in the 8th.
Yeah, I just think Sweden made the wrong call there, Victor. I really do.
Great sweeping.
Nice shot by Kim, and I think the problem was that they were wanting to get another rock in the house, and as you said, Ray, anything protecting it in some fashion, even if it was short of the rings, would have prevented this shot from being made. Nice touch, and again we see from Kim that great tap back weight.
I could feel that coming. You know how sometimes you think,
Germany and Denmark. Denmark won their opener this morning. Germany a loser. It's the Germans skipped by Natalie Nessler, coming off a 5th at the Salt Lake Games. And this is a chance to score 3 for the Germans out of Garmisch and Partenkirchen. And will it stop in time? It will. For 1, 2, and 3. And Germany takes a 7-3 lead going to 9.
Trying to draw through the hole. I think the line is good, but where is it going to stop?
Yeah, she certainly had the right ice. Got it through the hole. It's not a very big hole either.
Vad är det? Vad var den då? Jag hade dem.
87. Hade du? 85.
Here's a good look at the hole that Colleen's going to try and come through now. That
Colleen and Maria with good numbers. Those that throw last, and Colleen showing us her great hitting ability in this game. Perfect so far on those takeouts. Maria's got the good feel for draw weight, and that was something I always felt was important day one, is to get some feel for the ice to carry through for the rest of the week.
through the hole.
Surely it's got to curl a little bit.
Well,
Try and keep it high. You don't want it deep.
I know, but
they give theirs a little start. She does on her interns.
What?
She gives her interns a little go. Little
The
go.
hole right here.
Anyway, this looks good.
I haven't thrown a draw in a long time. 24? Okay, full 8. Maybe a little beyond full 8, you guys.
Okay.
Colleen Jones in her first. Canada with the hammer here in the 8th of a 4-4 tie.
Go for line. Yeah, no.
Needs it. Whoa,
They're talking about 14 seconds between the hog line for these draws.
Yep. Hurry.
Good judgment by Kelly and Way. You could hear them say needs it. Very good judgment. Nice draw. They'll draw it in.
Great shot. Great. You're right, Victor. Absolutely great judgment by Kim Kelly and Marianne Way. You heard her say all the way down, we need it for weight, we need it for weight. So they anticipated they would curl a little bit that Nancy was worried about.
Okay, those sweepers were good. They're like...
They never broke stride on this.
She just shot, eh? Yeah. By the time we had to wait for it to get off this one, I thought we would have lost our... Yes, I know.
Oh, careful. Don't want to pick you up. That's a beautiful spot.
That is a great spot. You're right, Kim.
Så finns dubbel.
Ja, visst. Jag tycker det.
Canada lying two. There is a Swedish stone sitting at the back edge of the 8-foot.
Jag tycker det är den, eller så tycker jag det är frysningen emot deras skotte.
Tycker att vi spelar på den där. Tycker du inte det?
I don't know what she's got really, Linda. This is a very small hole to try and get through. And I really think that she's going to have to do something with this stone here.
I think the question, one of the questions I've had this entire end is, will it draw around close to the freeze on shot rock? Will that spot, we're a little bit closer to center, will that spot move enough so that you could draw in and try to concede just one? And that's a huge question mark.
Ray, could you play anything with the out turn to that stone on the edge of the 4-foot?
Kind of what Linda was saying too, is that, is there anything here coming around this way here? It's so straight there. I don't think so. She is playing the raise. I think we talked about.
Jag ska lite plus. Borde vara bra.
So she's going to try and raise the red stone straight back onto the 4-foot shot. Just a little bit of an angle, just a little off the nose.
All on its own so far. Nothing from Lindholm or Jornlund.
A lot of weight.
She's actually playing through the hole.
Through the hole she does, and she doesn't get enough. She'll angle, and the angle raise, and yeah, she does. She cuts them down. So now it'll be a draw for 2.
She was playing through the hole all the way. You can tell by the weight. I
think this out turn
turned out to work out really pretty well for her. The best she could do.
It was a good shot through that port.
There's nothing more she could get out of that. She wrecks in the port. She gives them a draw for 3. And she doesn't make the raise. It's a small hole.
Boy, I tell you what, the house is very lively because I didn't think she was going to move that raised stone that far.
Just keep my eye from her.
A little more. Yeah, because as long as.
Well, we'll find out now if this draw is here.
Is that more?
Oh, she's got lots of room.
Little more ice.
Just has to be full in the 8-foot.
Okay, can I throw the same there?
Just a teeny bit more.
But you're only able to pound it at a certain point, my rock, right?
Just a,
do you think? Yeah.
You know, as soon as we watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, did you give it a little more? Because, you know...
I did.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay.
4's good. Yeah.
Okay, great.
She set out this end to get her deuce, and this is the draw for the extra point.
Line's good.
Something there on the ice.
Yeah, Hart. Your line's fine, you guys. Your line's fine.
We saw them drag the last one when the number was above the 14 mark that we wanted at the hog line for that draw.
Need full 8. Full 8. Take it back as far as they can. Kelly way, and it's going to come up light.
Good weight. It is just a little stickier over there.
You know what? I saw a black thing on the ice, but I assumed your grooms got it out of the way.
So Canada and Colleen Jones have to settle for just the single.
Stickier.
Yeah. Was it stickier?
Sweden has the hammer back, down by 1.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you in part by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience. By JVC, excite your senses. And by Whirlpool Home Appliances, proudly supporting extraordinary Canadian women athletes and everyday champions across the country.
We have our first final in this second draw of women's play. Scotland with a 3 and then a steal of 3 and 8. 9-2 the final. Scotland and Jackie Lockhart now 2-0. Patty Lang from Madison, Wisconsin drops to 0-2 on this opening day at the Ford Worlds.
Well, that was a huge point that Colleen missed. And we talked about the end of the break, and that outturn draw obviously was there that Sweden could have tried, because it did, that one did, Colleen's did curl at the end.
Piece?
She just came up short.
Here it comes. She's got the back line peel going on. Look at that.
Sweden's plan is clear as they put the rocks into the house. They would like to keep the hammer. Keep this end very open.
Hannah Lindholm. So go to 10, down by 1 with the last rock.
Ja, gärna Kalla. Håll igång lite bara. Röna.
Good, Marianne. Good shot.
Well, just a reminder, the next edition of Sports Center comes your way at 2 Eastern, or is that 3 Eastern? Spring forward, fall back. So if it's on at 2 and over at 3, it's gone before you know it.
Very short.
Just remember now, tonight you do put your clocks ahead 1 hour before you go to bed.
Not the whole world.
Center guard.
Marianne Way.
Halfway.
It's a longer.
Yeah. Halfway to tight.
I don't know.
Right up. Right up.
I don't think we can, Kim. Well, maybe keep going. I'm gonna land right on the black.
Has to be all the way over the black to be in play, and it will not make it.
It was a 96.
I got 88.
Känns bra. Ja, blått, vitt. Ser bra ut. Blått. Ja, blått bara.
Ja, då jobbar vi.
Vitt. Ja, ja. Vitt. Nej, vitt. Blått. Blått.
Nice drag by the Swedes as they get it to the top of the 12.
I had 88, she had 96.
Another final in this second draw, and Russia scores 3 in the 9th. 13-5 the final. So Russia a winner over Korea. The Russians are now 1-1. Korea 0-2 to start their first appearance at the Ford Worlds.
Canadians are featuring that very quiet takeout weight today.
They are. This game has that funny feeling where we've talked about the stats and the great numbers for the Canadian players, especially the discrepancy at front end, the bigger numbers for Nancy and Marianne over the Swedish front end. And yet here we sit, Canada just up the single point and Sweden with the hammer. And we know with the 4-rock rule, so much can happen in the 10th end.
I really mind giving them.
Yeah, we don't want it too long.
I mean, rather not.
You heard Nancy saying, wouldn't be that bad if we gave them 2, and then we'd have the last rock coming home. I don't want to do it, but.
Right.
You know, I was just thinking to myself, is there something that you could do, Linda, if you're Canada here, to try and force them to take 1? I mean, you lay the stone out in front and say, here, have a go at it.
She is.
She is. Okay.
She's been trying to get them. The last one was hard.
Very good sweep, guys. Very good sweep.
So force her to be aggressive. See how she plays this.
And she's going to go around. So.
78, 88.
So the key is whatever Sweden does, you have to get your next rock into a position where you hold them, because as much as Nancy said we don't mind them giving them 2, I would mind giving them 2. I know they're talking about the situation coming home, but you know, with that 4-rock rule and the chance for the team to throw first and get some front stones up, a lot can happen.
Ideally, you'd love to force them to take 1.
Upp den. Upp. Bra, Maggan. Bra.
Yes, it is. Sorry.
What do I got?
Quickly, the game between Germany and Denmark. Germans in control here, 7-3. But they have a chance. Quiet tap. There's 1 yellow stone surrounded by lots of red, so the Danes have a chance here. See the yellow stone back, 8 foot. This could be for 3 or possibly 4 here for this Danish team, skipped by Lenny Bidstrup. Quiet tap back. Move it far enough. Looks like it did. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so they will go to the 10th, tied 7-7. Germany with the hammer.
I do. We love the freeze.
Very nice.
Do you think you might
Wow, that's quite a 9th end.
with this spot?
There was a long conversation in this 9th end about whether to play the cold freeze or to tap the red stone.
Yeah, just 4.
And I believe they've stuck with the freeze.
Yeah, nice come around. Just went a little bit too far for Sweden. If it's just top of the 4-foot, it makes the whole situation a little different.
Lots of weight. That's lots of weight. It's not moving.
We need to go on it.
Not
Do you
moving
need
on.
to?
Guys, no bounce.
To get to it. You can go as long as it's
bounce,
no bounce. Okay, it's no bounce.
Okay, go. Hurry.
No bounce, no bounce.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. You're fine, you're fine.
Great shot, Colin.
Nice shot. Nice shot.
Very nice shot indeed.
I love that.
Great ice.
So will that be enough to hold Sweden to a single?
Could very well do so.
Eller hur?
Sweden looking at putting a guard up.
Maria Engholm.
Nära. Måste curla lite. Ja. Är det nära?
Dra sista. Ja.
Så drar vi det.
Ja.
På!
Ja.
Kom igen nu!
Lite till.
Riktigt, kom igen!
don't know. I kind of wish we would have bumped Colleen.
I think I need
to
an
be
inch
shot
more,
now.
Nance. Titch more? Yeah.
You know, we could have been on that to bump.
Engholm and Sigfridsson.
They have shot stone, but if Colleen gets a rock anywhere near the top of the button, it's going to be that one red one that is going to be really the only possibility for Sweden. And there's a chance they could brush this to the pin. They just have to be careful not to bounce off the red one.
For the guard.
Right now, it's looking pretty tough to get a deuce.
Where do you want to go with this one, Linda, do you think?
Just to carry, guys.
If you're looking at, as they have been, enforcing it, I would bring it to a position where they cannot draw the button, and that could be a guard, as they're saying, as long as they don't bring it too close to center line.
Play the guard all the way. It's a long guard, but I'd be surprised if she can get to the, she might get to the edge of the button if she just gets by the top one.
I think the guard actually overcurled a little bit. If you're trying to prevent the draw, you can leave a little hole even between the two yellow stones.
Just trying to get, trying to get very close to this one here. Get around. Try and catch a little bit of that button for a deuce.
Sweden has their single. Can they make it two?
The brushers are thinking it's a little long.
Needs a piece and won't curl enough, and it's heavy as well, slips back at just the single. So the strategy pays off for Canada. Canadians will have the hammer coming home in a 5-5 tie.
Freeze. I mean, that was...
The key shot is brought to you by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience.
Canada had a plan in 9, and that was to force Sweden to take the single. Sweden's stone came too deep. This is a great example of how, when you bring your stone in a little too far, your opposition can force the single by making a nice draw to the face of it. And that's exactly what Colleen does on this very nice draw to the top of the forefoot. And after this shot, we knew it was going to be very difficult to Sweden to get their two. They couldn't. And so Canada does get the hammer coming home.
Great ice.
On this very busy opening day of the Ford Worlds from the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Don't leave it. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Well, when you're trying to steal a point, the one thing you can't do is have your lead thrower in the rings, and that's exactly what happened.
Feeling of a center guard easier if we just leave that there as opposed to going to the wing.
This is where the 4-rock rule makes a little difference. You have one more chance to get a rock out in front.
For the fact that you can get 2 rocks, so they have to try and tick, and sometimes those ticks are made. That means you get 2 rocks to try and get behind for the steal. So that was a big mistake by Anna.
Den behöver inte vara så lång. Nej, vi håller bara igång. Ja. Lite mellan. Ja. Jag inte curla mer då.
Do you want to go the other way? Yeah, I do. Tell her. Tell her. Tell her. Tell her. If you don't like it.
What way do you throw? And just hack?
Well,
tell her if you're not committed to.
Can we play the out turn over curl?
Yeah.
The thing with playing hack going into it, if you're a little light at all, you're just going to tap it up. Okay.
Just hack, Nance.
Yep.
What is her reasoning for going with the other turn, or wanting to? Is it just personal preference?
No, I think they actually talked in the break about playing the over curl tick, where you're trying to go across the face of the stone, the opposition rock, and then spill your shooter off. And I think Colleen was changing that, and they were just questioning the turn. Here's where the world rule is different. More than one player on that team. The team that did not deliver the stone can sweep the tick, and they do sweep it off, and it comes back.
Was it that close to center?
What? It's just a little heavy.
Nancy?
Just that much heavy. You know, you cannot be 2 feet.
It was a little more off center.
Was it that close to center?
Might have been an inch that way.
I thought it was, but I guess you'll official. It was over a little bit?
Yeah,
just a little.
It was over.
Okej.
Center line.
Nu tycker jag det är lite svårt om vi ska lägga en till gard.
Tycker vi går in.
Vick eller dra?
Dra. Vad tycker ni?
Now there's the stone as it was, just as... And it could still go over a little bit more. Pretty close.
Pretty close. Those are tough.
Gärna. Hej, ingen fara. Okej.
Är det tid?
Ja, då är vi med på den här.
Lite drygt tid. Baka.
Med.
Baka. Vitt.
Nej, inte än. Inte än. Måste curla så mycket som möjligt. Den är för tjocken. Kör vilken då.
It's a lot of words, isn't it?
No, I don't like this. If we can hit and stay there, that's good.
Like that too. Oh, tool. Sorry about that.
Regular. No. No, no. No, 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 no.
Colleen Jones led 5-4 after the 8th.
Okay.
And when she leads, or when she has led after the 8th, she is 16-1 at the World Championships. Her only loss came last year against Denmark and Lene Bidstrup when she lost in an extra end. Now with the hammer here in 10, she's in a 5-5 tie.
Great chance to bury this right on the top of the forefoot.
Bra sista. Ni kan dra nu, ja. 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 Jag jobbar nu. Jag jobbar. Lite till. Så många den går. Kom igen nu. Kom igen nu. Kom igen nu. Bra draget. Bra. What you got?
Well, what a
You guys like peel or this?
win for Switzerland. 8-6 over Norway as Switzerland
This one?
evens their record at 1-1. Norway also now 1-1. So that's Manuela Corman and Dorothy Nordby.
Your rocks are revolting.
No.
Playing the in turn.
We got piece, don't we? We got a piece.
One or the other.
Yep. Good shot.
Nice shot, Marianne.
Kanten röd.
And what a comeback for Denmark. They scored 4 in 9 and steal 1 in 10 after being down 7-3. They win it 8-7. So Denmark and Lene Bidstrup are now 2-0. Germany, Natalie Nessler, 0-2.
Sweden will try to come around that same way. We did see that it appeared that the other turn would also bury. So they probably could pick either one.
Den ligger helt öppen, men ja, vi drar den ändå. Så långt vi kan. Kom igen! Kom igen!
You like the peel?
Yeah. Whatever you think.
All the other games are complete in this second women's draw.
Well, you might get them both this way.
Our feature is left, and that's Canada against Sweden 5-5 as we play in the 10th.
Chance for the double peel to get off the top one.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Yep.
a long double peel, Marianne.
Oh, almost. Body language didn't work.
So here are all the finals for you. Scotland wins their second in a row. The U.S. has dropped 2 straight. Koreans in their first appearance have lost 2 in a row. Russia 1-1. Switzerland evens their record at 1-1. Norway, they're the next opponents for Canada. Colleen Jones, they're 1-1. Our game is in the 10th. And Denmark off to a fast start. 2 straight wins. Germany lose 2 in a row.
That 9th end certainly stands out, Victor, with a big 4 points, and to come back to steal it. What a comeback that is.
Margareta Sigfridsson.
Kör.
Playing the long guard.
Inte så mycket curl.
Ja, räcker av.
Bara över. Mittemellan. Bara stanna. Ligger ganska bra. Bara stanna. Håll rent, snälla. Jättebra, Maggan. Bra så.
Yeah.
If you want to try and make the double peel harder, you would try to place that guard more dead in front of the red stone in the ring. Still an angle here for Kim.
She just missed it last time.
Whoa. No. Whoa.
Good.
A little bit.
Oh,
Ooh, she's so close on those.
did it again.
Ja.
Oh, sugar.
Jag tycker vi spelar en till guard.
Hade du fått lite Maggan? Ja, jag var. Spelar 5 säger jag.
Playing the guard again.
Guard. Vi pratar lite om knacken, men det känns som att man vill vänta med den lite. Kan vara lite kortare än Maggans.
First of the skip stones here in this 10th.
If this one is peeled off, Maria will of course have to make the decision about the play on her last, and that is, do you tap, do you just draw around? And in my opinion, that changes the way you play this guard. You might try the other turn, for example, if you're going to play the straight come around so that you have a chance to see it once.
Jag är ledsen, Maggan.
Ja, det är okej.
Like over the top, like it's far enough apart, eh?
Double now, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about a half a rock double.
Trying to line up the double peel.
Less than half. Go to third.
You can get them both off. Roll the shooter over a little. The end took a altogether different picture when the first rock came into the rings. The first lead stone slipped into the rings.
You trying to go over top of the back
Sweden.
one? Peel first, I guess.
This one here.
You like it?
Yeah, I do.
Cross onto this one here.
But I've also got, yeah, no, I like
Over
it.
the top is what you said. That way you get your shooter out of there as well.
Colleen Jones in her first.
Yep. Whoa.
So we backed her up.
Close.
No.
Yep.
No.
Hurry.
No.
Whoa.
3/4. Across the top, no, and that's the worst thing that could happen.
Okay.
And now Sweden
Easy to say now, but we should have just gone straight.
is shot stone.
Yeah, it was one of those where you had to really, once you saw it was going a little straight, you maybe had to brush it and just make the straight peel.
Du får ju knacka den hit, in på locket.
Ja. Knackar vi den där, då
Gonna
måste
try
de
and tap
göra
it back.
dubbeln. Därför känns
Vi
den
tycker att vi ska
bättre
knacka
bara
den lite
för
grann,
alltså
in på
garden.
locket. Ja, det är...
Hon har
Så.
hela fyrfoten att dra på. Därför känns det som att vi måste ha en
Marginalen är lite längre.
Tycker ni om det själv?
Vad tror du om isen här, Maria?
Jag har ingen aning på den handen. Jag kan bara den andra.
Vill du hellre spela den andra handen?
Ja.
This was my comment actually earlier. They're a little uncertain of the turn in the ice, and I said maybe they could have played one of their guards with this other turn so that they could have had a look at it once. Back now to the in-turn.
What a great opportunity, though, for Sweden to take advantage of the miss by Jones. Final stone from Maria Engholm.
He's trying to split it a bit now.
Okay, now what do we got?
They're lying two.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation, actually. It looked like it was going to be very bad for Sweden.
Can't hit that.
Which way do I want to draw?
It worked out pretty well for her, didn't it, Linda?
Straight button?
She is
Rather
lying
than
two.
worry
She
about
forced,
that?
No, definitely, yeah.
forced Colleen to draw.
Despite the 4. Yep.
It was actually a good call by Sweden to play the little chip because the front end was calling out the last stone was a bit heavy for the call that they made, and now they forced Colleen into a little bit tougher shot than they might have if the rock had overcurled the spot.
4, what am I throwing?
Scotland and Denmark have already won. They are two teams at 2-0 after the opening day, and Colleen Jones now trying to bite the 4-foot to join them in a three-way tie for first place.
Colleen's draws today have been a little up and down. We talked about her great hitting ability today. She's at 73% on her draws, and remember the 8th end, she missed the draw for the extra point.
Down this same path, actually. Maybe out a little bit wider, maybe.
Mine's great.
I got 4.
Piece of the 4.
Hurry up.
Marianne Way closes the stone.
Head down.
Piece of
Kim
the 4.
Kelly
Hurry up.
out in front. Time, Linda?
14 seconds.
We got it.
Big rush now, trying to drag it to the 4. Need a piece of the 4 for the win. Needs a little bit more. Get it to the 4. Get it to the 4 for the win. They got it there.
Great brushing all the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You hit the turning point, you two.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Great throw. Great sweeping. Marcel and Scott right here.
Ionia.
Well, again, it's the front end, and they've saved a couple today, and you can see them right away. Watches right to the stone.
Great comment by Kim Ray. She said, put your head down.
Head down. Yeah, she did exactly. That's exactly what she said. Head down. She knew right off the bat. Absolutely a great call by the front end. You heard Kim Kelly say to Marianne, we got to go all the way.
Just a piece of the 4. Bite the 4 for the win, and there it is. They never look up, do they? Just head down. There's a little peek. How much more? Come on, Marianne. We'll get it there. We'll get it there. They sure do, by just that little bit, for a 6-5 win. And Canada's now won their first 2 on this opening day of the Ford Worlds.
Hi, Dad. Hope you're feeling better. Hope that game was close.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment, by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Briar, and by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
So the Canadian women win 2 in a row. Can Randy Ferbey do the same? We'll find out 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific when he meets Sweden and Per Carlson. Now on behalf of Lyndon Ray and our entire crew, thanks for joining us. See you at 10 Eastern time. This has been a presentation of TSN, Canada's sports leader.